Lots that's happened overnight in Ukraine. Russia has essentially launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. India Today is the only Indian channel reporting from every key region in the country, and we're getting you the most dramatic images. You see that on your screens of the explosions, the shelling that's being reported now across Ukraine in different parts. It isn't just limited now to eastern Ukraine. This has spread across Ukraine now. Now, according to the Ukraine police, Russia carried out 203 attacks in all on Thursday in different regions of the country. The Ukraine Border Guard reported multiple casualties due to Russian shelling. Russian troops and armored units crossed into the Ukraine territory. Due to the unforeseeable crisis that's playing out, Indian nationals stranded in Ukraine are, of course, facing a huge shadow of uncertainty, many of them not knowing what exactly they have to do, where they should be staying. Many desperate students have been lining up at the Indian embassy in Ukraine. Students of the Kyiv National Medical University gathered at the hostel's basement, unsure because of all the bombing that they can hear around them. Russian missile shells hit a building. This is in the Ivano-Franko city of Ukraine. A huge burst of flames can be seen as that missile hits the area. And we're just going to be playing out those images. There you see it. The kind of devastation and damage that's being created by bombing, and particularly by air missiles that are being thrown into Ukraine from Russia. The eastern port city, Mariupol, witnessed multiple explosions. The airport was ablaze soon after that. Remember that the airspace across Ukraine has been closed down, anticipating exactly this. The Russian Defense Ministry has claimed to have destroyed dozens of Ukrainian military facilities, and they've also said that they've lost one fighter jet in all of the fighting and the back and forth between Ukrainian and Russian troops. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant has also been captured right now by the Russian forces. And amid all of this chaos, because of all the uncertainty, no one's sure of where they should be going, there are huge traffic jams and long queues that are reported at departmental stores, at ATMs, at gas stations, some of them stuck in their vehicles trying to get out. What you see here are Indian students gathered in their hostel's basement, as you can hear bombing around them. This is, make no doubt in your mind, a full-fledged war.
Hello, it's Maria Besrenko reporting live from Kyiv, from one of the bomb shelters beneath the residential building in the city center of Kyiv. So I will show you a quick, so to say, bombshell room tour. So you can see it's not in the best condition, but hopefully it is ready to keep people for some time. You can also see the facilities are not too good for staying here for long, but nevertheless, as air alarm was declared in Kyiv, we together with the neighbors gathered in this premises underneath the residential house. So you can see, I will quickly show you what is happening here. So here and there, some food, some stuff, some water also prepared for any case of emergency or something. So we have here places now to sit, to rest for some time. And here are the air filters, which are, I guess, from the Soviet times, are here according to their appearance. So this is the place we're have been spending several hours. So there is also the facility, so to say, to sleep if needed. And this is our water. For now, there were several alarms, several times sirens were heard in the city center. So we, from time to time, go again here in the shelter, staying here for some time, then coming out to breathe a little bit and to understand if it's to catch some connection, because there is no connection down here, no internet, no cell connection, no mobile phones working. So this is the situation. So we are lucky because this shelter is one of, so to say, in good conditions. But the only problem was the lock, because we had to remove use this lock by force, by cutting it actually and throwing away, because nobody knew where the keys from the bomb shelters in this area are. So here is the situation, so to say, on the ground and beneath the ground. This you can see also my neighbor standing, and the sign that Ukrytya, which means bomb shelter, bunker. So that is all for now. We are staying here, reading news, having quick runs to the surface and trying to understand what to do next. And also one thing is that there is a decent smell of something burnt in the air, and as we've seen the pictures of strikes, we understand that this is the smell of something burnt from these strikes actually. And also we repeatedly are hearing some explosions, faraway explosions in the background. We do not understand where they come from, but every time we see the signs of alarm going or approaching, or we see this information online, we go and hide in this shelter. So that's the situation now on the ground. Reporting live from Kyiv, Maria Pasarenko.
So Maria will continue getting us such ground reports where we tell you what the situation is across Ukraine. Now, initially it was suspected that Russian troops would attack Ukraine only from the east. But it's very clear from what played out yesterday that they plan to surround Ukraine. And sources have told India today that the Russian troops plan to encircle Kyiv by this morning. It's 3:30 in the morning currently in Ukraine. So in the next few hours, perhaps the worst that Ukraine has seen will be hitting them. They plan to cut off the food and electricity supply to Kyiv, to the capital, and that's how they will surround and then take over the capital city. Reports suggest that Russia is making a list of now pro-Russian leaders who will be put in power when a Kremlin-friendly government comes to power, because Putin claimed that Russia doesn't plan to really take over Ukraine.
Ukraine is on the boil, with Russia invading the country from three sides. Destruction, panic and chaos ensued as Ukrainians fled their homes. As Russia steps up attack, the full scale of the invasion is yet to be assessed. Ukrainian sources have revealed to India today their fears about Russia's invasion plan. Sources say Russian troops plan to encircle the Ukrainian capital Kyiv by Friday. According to sources in Ukraine, Russian troops aim to cripple the capital by cutting off electricity and food supply. Sources also revealed that Moscow is making a list of pro-Russian leaders who will be put in power once a Kremlin-friendly government is established in Kyiv. Sources say former President Yanukovych, who had fled Ukraine after the 2014 revolution, will be brought back to Kyiv. Reports suggest that Russia's demands include recognition of Crimea as part of Russia, recognition of Donetsk and Luhansk as separate republics, and full demilitarization. A day after Russian invasion of Ukraine, citizens continue to seek shelter in metro stations. Military vehicles are blocking roads, inspecting baggage and vehicles before people are let through. With a total breakdown of diplomatic talks between Russia and Ukraine, the assault will bleed the nation, its citizens and the resources. Bureau Report, India Today.
What played out yesterday was scary, to say the least. The kind of images and footage that we were receiving of bombing and shelling that's being reported not in one part of Ukraine but across the country. It was clear that Russia was fully ready for this kind of a full-scale invasion. They've almost reached now the capital city of Ukraine. A Russian Mi-8 attacked Kyiv airbase and the Hostomel airport. Ukraine claims to have shot 2 of Russia's choppers. Here are all the details you need to know about how Russia is planning the invasion into Kyiv and thereby take full control of Ukraine.
Russia is knocking on the doors of Kyiv, the capital city of Ukraine. On your screen are the images of a stunning air attack by the Russian Air Force on the Kyiv suburb. India Today gets you the hair-raising video of the Russian invasion from 3 angles. The images show plumes of smoke coming out of buildings with 6 Mi-8 choppers flying low over the city, a chilling proof of the breach of Ukrainian airspace by Russian forces. Ukrainian border guards say the Russian troops have entered the northern part of the capital region. They claim Russians have attacked Hostomel airport. Ukraine claims to have shot down 2 Russian helicopters. Ukrainian MP Maria Lonova, who shared the video of the Russian air assault on social media, spoke exclusively to India Today.
Russia helicopters, they're attacking our airport near Kyiv. It's just 10 kilometers from Kyiv. This airport, it is famous because of our great airplane Mriya, dream. So it's the biggest airplane on the world. It's Ukrainian. And of course, now sanctions, they will not save human lives, and that is why now it's time really to help by military weapon to defend our country.
It is an all-out Russian invasion of Ukraine. For Ukrainians, the nightmare is now a living reality. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, India, of course, is monitoring everything that's playing out in Ukraine very, very closely. One of the biggest issues and challenges is that many of our Indian nationals are still stuck in Ukraine. With the airspace being closed, public transport being stopped, it's almost turning out to be very, very difficult and challenging for India to be able to reach out to our nationals. On Thursday, Prime Minister Modi dialed Russian President Vladimir Putin and expressed concern over the safety of Indian nationals. Prime Minister also conveyed India's priority to ensure safe exit of all our citizens, of all our nationals. Modi also urged Putin to resolve all differences through dialogue with NATO. Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has spoken to his counterpart in Ukraine's neighbouring Hungary, in Slovakia and in Romania, who've agreed to cooperate in facilitating evacuation of Indians. So it looks like the plan right now is for Indian nationals to be moved from Ukraine to neighbouring countries, and from there, the embassies in these nations will take charge. They're assisting evacuation ops at Ukraine borders. The MEA, meanwhile, has said that it's in touch with the Defence Ministry for provisions for airlifting. The IAF has also said that they can help in these circumstances.
We've also asked our embassies, our ambassadors in the countries neighbouring Ukraine, and I mentioned these, Poland, Romania, Slovakia and Hungary, to send teams of their officers to the border areas with Ukraine to facilitate the exit of Indian nationals from Ukraine, to permit them to come into their countries, so where they can be safely evacuated back to India.
We are tensed because we want to come back to India, but the situation is not like that, because the airport has been blocked and all the flights have also been cancelled. And in this situation, our degree is also even more important, because we are final year medical students, and all these 5.5 years we have worked very hard for our degree, and our parents are also, they are very much tensed, and they also want us to come back to India, but the situation is not like that. And so we kindly request the Indian government to evacuate us in some or the other way, by taking our situation under consideration and talking to the Ukrainian government about our degree.
Russia continues its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. We want to now get you details of how different countries are reacting. We were live through the night here on India Today to tell you about the news conference held by US President Joe Biden. The West has come down heavily on Russia after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Joe Biden has slapped more sanctions on Moscow, but that's just about the toughest action he's taken against Russia. The latest measures are expected to target Russian banks and exports of technology critical to the industry. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has also unveiled a package of severe sanctions targeting banks, members of Putin's closest circle, and the extremely wealthy who enjoy high-rolling London lifestyles. The UK has also banned Russian airline Aeroflot to operate. This means that Aeroflot will not be permitted to operate flights to or from the United Kingdom until further notice. The European Union announced initial sanctions aimed at 351 Russian politicians who voted for recognizing the two separatist regions in Ukraine. That's what started this all. The EU is now limiting Moscow's access to its financial markets. Germany earlier announced that it would block the sea gas pipeline project, which is designed to double the flow of Russian gas direct to Germany. So every country right now is responding with sanctions, which no doubt will hurt Russia. But Ukrainians have one simple appeal, saying provide us military support. That's what we need to fight back Russia. But at this point, no country seems to be willing to step up and do that.
And Putin's aggression against Ukraine will end up costing Russia dearly, economically and strategically. We will make sure of that. Putin will be a pariah on the international stage. Any nation that countenances Russia's naked aggression against Ukraine will be stained by association. When the history of this era is written, Putin's choice to make a totally unjustifiable war on Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Liberty, democracy, human dignity, these are the forces far more powerful than fear and oppression. They cannot be extinguished by tyrants like Putin and his armies.
Overall, we'll be imposing asset freezes on more than 100 new entities and individuals. Next, on top of these financial measures and in full concert with the United States and the EU, we will introduce new trade restrictions and stringent export controls similar to those that they in the US are implementing. We will bring forward new legislation to ban the export of all dual-use items to Russia.
The sanctions carried out against Russia will be on the same level as the aggression it is guilty of, on the military and economic levels, as well as with regard to energy. We will be without weakness. We will back Ukraine without hesitation, and we will take our responsibility to protect the sovereignty and security of our European allies.
We continue to look at more and further ways to support the Ukrainian military in their brave stand against the Russian invaders. We continue to exchange with allies and coordinate to make sure that we're getting the Ukrainian military the tools that they need.
And rest assured, we here at India Today, through the day, will be getting you the most comprehensive coverage of what's playing out in Ukraine. We have the biggest team of reporters on the ground in every single key region in Ukraine, and they'll be getting you the updates. So stay with us here on India Today and trust us to get you the most precise analysis of what's playing out.